When humanity first joined the interstellar community, many species expected them to be absorbed by one of the vast empires dominating the Orion Arm. I remember discussing this with my fellow Rosov diplomats aboard the Rosov embassy ship en route to Earth for our initial contact. Intellu joked, "These humans seem so primitive. They colonized a dead planet before they even established a space military." As we entered the human solar system, I saw Intellu's point. The humans had chosen to colonize a planet they called Mars. From what we could observe, Mars had always been a lifeless, barren rock covered in red sand. After the formalities and official greetings, I approached one of the humans to inquire about their unusual choice of colonization. "Dr. Colosso," I began, addressing a slender human who, like most of his kind, stood about 2 meters shorter than myself. "I understand you are the president of the Martian colony experiment." "Yes, that's right," Colosso replied. "We're just starting our journey into space exploration. I'm hopeful that your species will assist us." I couldn't help but chuckle quietly, my air holes tightening. "I must ask, why choose to colonize such a desolate world? Did you find any valuable resources beneath its crust?" The human looked puzzled. "No, Mars had active uranium when we arrived, which made nuclear production quite manageable. But Mars has long fascinated us. It's central to many of our myths. My great-grandfather believed we should spread our message on Mars." Uranium. My translator device indicated it was the human term for element 92. I was curious about its significance to them. Perhaps they valued its glow. I planned to mention this curious detail to my superior, Ambassador Ushiuksk. There was another term, nuclear, which our dictionary didn't fully explain, only indicating it had something to do with the inner part. After a brief and polite departure, I retired for the night. The following day, my fellow Rosov officials and I met with the humans to discuss their conditions for joining our empire. Dr. Colosso was present, and we exchanged a handshake, as they called it. "So," Ushiuksk began, "we're here to discuss what assurances you require to join our empire. There are at least 4 major empires within a few dozen light years of Earth. We hope you'll choose to join the Rosov peacefully, as we can offer protection and trade networks." One of the humans stood up. "Actually, we have a few clarifications to request." "Of course," Ushiuksk replied, anticipating some initial hesitation from new species. "What would you like to know?" "One of our representatives spoke to an ambassador last night, and a comment made us curious. What energy sources do you use?" Ushiuk's surprise was barely concealed. "We use fossil fuels, the same as most advanced species in the galaxy." "I see," the human said. "And do the other 3 empires use fossil fuels as well?" "That's correct." "Well," the human continued, "if that's the case, we'll have to decline your offer. Instead—" "Oh," I interjected, rising on my 3 hind legs. "That's unfortunate. We had hoped for a voluntary alliance. The Rosov are among the most enlightened, but we're not averse to fighting for valuable resources." "If it's resources you seek," the human said, "you can have them. But I believe you'll be more interested in our nuclear energy." Then the diagrams emerged. Humans had discovered the atomic model and advanced it further. It was as if a shipbuilder could transform raw aluminum into a space-worthy vessel, but humans had taken it a step further. Within less than 50 solar years of discovering the atom, they had learned to split it. 2 days of this process produced more energy than even the most efficient fossil fuel plants could generate in a raw year. The energy was staggering. The humans recounted early accidents but assured us the technology was now safe and efficient. Even more perplexing was their education system. Operating a nuclear plant required extensive schooling and cultural knowledge passed down through generations. They warned that without this expertise, great disasters could occur. We'd have to recognize them as equals, an independent single-star empire, to gain access to this energy. When we reported back to the Emperor, Ambassador Ushiuksk tried to present it as a great deal, extraordinary energy in exchange for not taking just 2 planets. The Emperor was furious, nearly dismissing the entire staff. The decision was controversial, leading to political turmoil and even an assassination a few years later. Eventually, the new emperor accepted the deal. We soon discovered that humanity was making similar deals with the other 3 empires. Their expansion was slow but exponential. Unlike us, they didn't mind if a world had been inhabited. They transformed lifeless and hazardous planets into thriving, comfortable environments. When faced with small planets, they boasted of their leaping abilities. For large planets, they genetically engineered stronger bones. Too close to a star, they developed thicker skin. Too far, they adapted with more robust heating systems. Their capacity to reshape matter and genetics seemed almost magical. Within a few decades, they had maneuvered around the galaxy's 50 largest empires, earning recognition from nearly all. Some empires faced revolutions, partly due to their grip on finite resources becoming obsolete and partly due to humanity's unyielding spirit of freedom. We even started calling the galaxy by its human name. One empire remained resolute in its determination to subdue humanity, the Malums. Fierce and militaristic, they refused our offer and wouldn't even meet with human ambassadors. My species was chosen as intermediaries. On the morning I was set to meet with the Malum Empire, I encountered Dr. Colosso, granddaughter of the first human I had met. After resolving some negotiation details, I tried out a human phrase I'd learned. Dr. Colosso, do you have any tricks up your sleeve? Did I get that right? Yes, you did, she smiled. But I don't think we have any tricks, though it does remind me of a story from human history. Have you studied that? I have, but I'm just reaching the Trojan War. Please don't tell me you plan to launch a horse-shaped ship into the Malum Empire. She laughed. No, nothing like that. I'm thinking of something more recent. My grandfather mentioned a time when humans used our nuclear energy not for good, but for destruction. His great-grandfather lived through a period when humans annihilated 2 cities with this technology. I was stunned. Was this a bluff? A desperate ploy to avoid war from a supposedly pacifistic species? Do you have proof of these explosions? Check out the period known as the Cold War. It was a time of great fear over such attacks. Assuming you're honest, do humans still possess these nuclear weapons? No, we eliminated all of them 15 solar years before your arrival. At least, that's what we believe. There might be some hidden away in Nebraska or Saratov. With that, I departed for the Malum Empire. The journey, powered by human energy, took several days. During that time, I learned about the human Cold War. Upon arriving, I presented the evidence to the Malums, who swiftly concluded that even the threat of a Cold War was too risky. They agreed to recognize human independence within hours.